Hello and welcome to DesignChat, the best live design discussion on the internet. I'm your host, Ryan McGovern. On Twitter, I'm at Hoopajube and at DesignChat. Every week we get together with some of the coolest people from the design community. And today is no exception. We have Bright Great from Chicago. Golf clap.
Sound like a famous band, you know? We should be a band.
Wait, do you have is there a huge behind the scenes with you right now?
Yeah, there's like 1 million people right behind me. No, it's
you
like
guys are
3
loud.
or 4 people. Yeah,
all right.
Cool. Welcome. So, all right. Today was an epic day for design. One day for design, a day that AIGA has promoted for the last, 2 or 3 weeks now. A lot of Twitter traffic went insane. Hashtags, there were moderators. If you didn't participate in it, it was absolutely insane. You know what? I shouldn't have done that. No, let's do that. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to get back to the sort of introducing you guys. Sorry, I got so excited about it. You know, because it really was a big day.
Today is
I want to get
the
your guys'
first
impressions
design
of
holiday.
it.
I know, right?
Yeah,
We
it was a
designed
design
the
holiday.
holiday
I want to
for
get your
ourselves.
impressions of it.
It's like the 4th of July for design.
Minus
How
the
did you guys
fireworks.
participate in it? What was your experiences?
Well, we followed along with the websites, and then we know some of the people that were moderating as well, so we watched their feeds, and we kind of added our suggestions and some funny tweets in there as well. So we kind of participated along specifically just through Twitter.
I got very philosophical with Alex Boguski. I just really was like, all right, you're gonna get really philosophical in design. I'm gonna go there with you, dude. Watch me.
He does, man. Boguski's a deep dude. He definitely rocks some minds from time to time. And we had one of the moderators was Catherine Walker of the Quite Strong group out of Chicago. Local representation was awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Very much.
So, all right, let's rewind. Let's get back to the introduction. So, for the people who are not familiar with Bright Great, let's one at a time go around, introduce yourself, and a little bit of your history and how you fit into the BBG picture.
We gonna do ladies first? Go, Jason. No, I'm just joking.
Why am I first? Because I'm a girl?
Yes.
Polite.
That doesn't... No.
Because
Okay, I'll go
Okay.
first, because I'm the girl. All right. My name is Mobilize Tunde. I'm at Mobilionaire on the Twitter. New business development and project management for BBG Gangsters.
The G is for gangsters.
The G is for gangsters.
My name is Jason Schwartz. I am the creative director for BBG and one of the co-founders.
Jason Gross, working in operations, a lot of project startup.
Making sure people pay.
Yeah.
And that's Jason through the wire gross, by the way. You gotta get it right.
And he's
I'm
got the
Roslyn.
coolest headphones.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we were
He
saying.
does, man.
He's straight up like the dude from Incubus right now.
Yeah.
Jason always comes off as the biggest thug in photography and through video. We do not want to scare people away with his look.
That's what
Just
he
my
collects our money.
natural. It's
Is
all
that why you
natural.
Is that why you put him the furthest away from the camera?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, he's,
Yeah.
These
Nice
are
fill up your
dangerous.
large.
this is Gross is Jason's bodyguard whenever he gets into deep designing work. Like you always need like the paparazzi away, you know, because Jason's famous, so he has the bodyguard right there.
I watch the door.
Gross has killed people.
We can't forget
Well,
the
Gross,
lovely
if
lady.
somebody gets worked up in the chat room, Gross, if somebody gets worked up in the chat room, I want you to like encroach on the camera and intimidate people.
Can we bleep that out of the iTunes version, or throw the explicit tag on it?
Alright.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Roslyn. I came up with the name Bright Great,
She did.
and it was awesome. And I have a background in advertising and copywriting, and now
She's
I do,
also a co-founder.
Yes, and I do project management, and let's just come up with things.
She's our ideal woman.
So
And
Jocelyn,
then I bake for
because
everybody,
you
so-
came up with the name, let's hear about that. Let's hear about the inspiration for the name and what it means. I've gotten a number of questions about that.
Oh, really? I just liked it because it was so cute. But mostly because it made sense, because when Jason and I were thinking about it, I felt like we always had this sense that what we were doing was always better than just working in design. It's always been about giving clients more than what they expect, or what they need, or what they want, or what they think they need. And it was just going from bright and then great, just like all the way. So it's pretty much that. So it's a process, just like we are.
I want to expand on that a little bit too. Jocelyn originally she came up with pages and pages of names for our new potential firm. When I read all of them, I saw Bright, Bright, Great, and the first thing I thought of was, this is so perfect for our agency, because so many times we hear horror stories of companies that have hired a design agency on board, and there's fishy behavior, and the experience wasn't a positive one for the company and the agency. And that was something that when we always work to strive to make it, when we hand off projects and are done, we immediately want the people to say, it was such a good experience working with Bright, Bright, Great, and everything was really positive about the experience. And we don't do any, no advertisement. Everything we do is all referral based, and the name is catchy, and we want everyone to think we're bright and great.
And great at the end.
Two brights.
One bright
so
is
if you
just
turn in
too,
some
it's not bright enough.
Go ahead.
Just one bright is just a little
It's
too.
So
not
if you
enough.
hand something to a client and they respond and they're kind of like, meh, it's
Well, we
not
send
it's not
Jason.
working for you.
Then we send this guy first.
We send Gross out to handle it, and then we continue to make it the best product we can make.
Literally, we send them out to handle it. You know what I mean?
I don't know if
Right,
it's
right.
Really easy
You know what the
for
name?
agencies.
It's sort of.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a weird delay.
Go
I
ahead.
just feel like it's really easy
Yeah, there's a
for
little-
agencies or for designers to say, I'm better and I work, better than what people usually do, and I really engage in the whole process and whatever. But in the end, it's really weird to me when clients end up with really bad work just because the client wanted it and the designer just gives in. It's so unfair for the designer, for design, for the client, and for all of us who have to look at terrible things.
Yeah, we don't ever give up. If it's not to
Yeah.
our
We're
standards,
pretty stubborn.
we will not let things go through. We always, if the client says, I love this, but XYZ, and we say, you are making mistakes, we won't give up right there. And that's kind of the break point for a lot of people is, oh, well, the nav was horizontal and it has to be vertical, and there's these errors and whatever. And the reality is kind of, you told a little bit about our background earlier today, which is aesthetics, usability, and functionality. And we won't compromise any of those three pieces, even if there's a pushback on one thing or the other. If one design answer was wrong, we're going to do a different design answer. If one functionality isn't a favorite, we're going to move it to something else that we think is just as good, or through explanation is even better.
Yeah, you guys had this great Venn diagram of functionality, usability, and aesthetics, and right in the middle, you've got a line coming out saying, this is the awesome point when all these things cross right in the middle. It seems to be a sort of very balanced approach. But another sort of triptych that we talk about in design a lot is when clients are demanding things, you've got price, you've got quality, and you've got time, and you can only have two of those really, right? And
That's
there's
how
great
we work.
balance in these philosophies. So talk about a high point in your client relationships, and then I want to hear a low point, like a really horrible day or a really horrible thing that happened.
Oh, no.
Hold on 1 second.
We're not gonna.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
They have to converse. They're not sure if they want to share something. It's so bad. It's so bad they don't want the public knowing about it.
No, I mean
we
that
thought the same thing.
both of our, that's exactly how every project that we do is approached, and that's the first thing that we explain to a client every time, all the time is, if you want to have our time for 6 years, you can have it, but you're buying 6 years of our time. There's two kind of focuses. There's like technical requirements, which is there's like the price, the quality, and then the time, and then there's this design, the usability and functionality, and both of those kind of have to be in Zen synthesis to make a successful project, because great clients that really want, we want to do amazing deliverables for them, and we know that it's going to take X amount of time. If there isn't a budget, or if it comes in below a certain point, it's too hard for us to even work on it, because we know that to physically get this stuff done and make sure that the quality is there, we need to spend time on it. And at the end of the day, there's sometimes when there's a compromise for money versus like what the project will end up being. But typically the types of people that come to us are mostly startups or smaller companies, or a lot of like small interactive like iPhone apps and applications and stuff like that. And that's really that's kind of where we're working with those types of clients. We rarely have a client that comes to us that would have, let's say, come to like a Razorfish or a Leo Burnett or like an ARC and says, we have $150,000 to spend on this. We are working on much smaller, startup clients, and almost as boutique as we are as an agency, a boutique of a client. We are working with some clients that, are based out of the same locations as like Groupon, and they're those Lightbank funded companies, and they're big clients for us, and they're things that we work on every day. And how we work with those is it's all like, we'll continue to stay on board as long as you need us. As we'll continue to we've redesigned websites for companies 4 times the same website, always trying to continuously improve and that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry, I'm getting thrown off by reading the comments and talking at the same time. But a good client for us,
it is really difficult.
It's a good client for us. A good client day is us working on something we're helping the client to realize their dreams. Like they came to us because they like what we do visually, but our thinking goes so much deeper than just, what is my website going to look like? What is this business card going to look like? What is this application interface going to look like? A good day for us is when we see so many light bulbs, like aha moments, is that this was so good, for us and for them. We got to work on something that was fun for us, and we're helping them, at the end of the day, make money off their brand.
I forgot to mention at the beginning of the chat, for people who have not been here before, we do take questions from the audience. You can do that in 2 ways. There's a ask a question button on the right-hand side, a red button, and you can either submit it in text, and then that question will pop up on the screen, and of course you get credit for that. Or if you've got a webcam, you can actually get on camera and ask your question face to face. And really, guys, you really should be doing this. It's like a little design conference every single week with Q&A, and with some of the most talented people in the design community. So to make use of it, get on camera, ask a question tonight. We'd love to see you guys. All right, there are a couple questions sitting in there right now. So we're going to take a couple and keep this conversation going. Gary Holmes says, I notice your portfolio contains many ILOs. ILLOS. You create
illustrations.
A lot of Ilios. Oh, I was like, what is that? Do you create a lot of your own illustrations in-house?
It depends on what it is. A lot of the illustrations that and I'm not sure what in particular is being discussed, what you were looking at in the portfolio, but we are a boutique group, and what we do is we work with photographers. We don't have any in-house photographers, and when we know we're working with a fashion client right now, and we know that if we want to be successful to make this as perfect as it can be, we need to work with X photographer. We do have relationships like that with people, in Chicago and all over the world. Jocelyn came from a agency in Mexico that also had some additional creatives, and it depends on what the project is. I would say probably 90% of the work that's on Bright Bright Great's website came creatively from my hands. Not the development, but the art direction and design. But there are a couple pieces on there that did come from people that were working with us as a creative team. And that's another thing that we wanted to talk about too is, just like the client is part of the team, there's so many different facets of the creative process for a client that for us, when we get approached with anything, it's web, it's illustrations, it's photography, it might be specific development that we might need assistance with. A majority of the creative direction is in-house, but we do work with photographers and illustrators and stuff like that when we need assistance.
We have something cool. Jason.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. Let me explain. So Jason here is very modest, but he is a really good illustrator, I think. And so mostly because I like drawings and because I can't draw anything. So then he made this drawing the other day, and it's so super. See?
Get it right up on the screen. Oh, that's amazing. I can kind of see.
Buenos dias, la chef. This is good morning, the goat.
Yeah.
It's from a book that I got him.
Here, hold
Isn't
on
that
one.
genius?
You the only camera, and then
Here, wait.
maybe you
It's
get the
bright,
image
bright,
bigger.
great.
We don't have the logo on there. We gotta draw the logo on it.
That's hot.
Because it has like
That's
a
awesome.
crazy eye like that.
We need the logo on that one.
It's like show and tell.
Penis tree.
So coming up on June, I'm gonna get the date wrong. I think it's like June 16th is the Insight Design Conference. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys are slated to be speaking there in Northwest Indiana. Can you guys give us a hint about what you're gonna be talking about? And is it gonna be all you guys?
The Insight Design Conference, the website went live today, and I personally am going to be speaking at it. The subject matter that I'm going to be speaking about is transitioning from a day job into a almost freelance type opportunity, which is
A night job. A night job.
taking the night job and making it the day job.
There you go.
It's something that I personally did. I was creative directing a team in the Chicago Loop area a couple of years back, and I decided that the sitting at that desk wasn't creatively fulfilling enough for me to be sharing my crazy brain thoughts with as many clients as I could, and working on as much type of fun subject matter as I could. So at that point I transitioned, and shortly thereafter Bright Bright Great was actually born. But what this is going to be about is, I think I only have maybe 15 minutes to speak at this event, which for me, as Jocelyn could attest to, 15 minutes is probably going to be one small thought, and then I'm going to follow up with every single person who attends this conference for 3 months afterwards for 3-hour-long conversations.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I should say that DesignChat is also going to be there. We haven't figured out exactly how it's going to go down, but it's probably going to be from 8 to 9, and we're going to talk to a bunch of the people who are presenting that night. So it's going to be craziness, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be design community, and we're totally stoked to be a part of that too.
Just one thing I want to put. Just one thing I want to put in. You said the date was June 16th. It's actually June 9th. Just a correction.
Thank you for correcting me on that. June 9th. InsightDesignConference.com. Check them out if you're in Chicago, and please buy tickets and show up. It's going to be great.
We actually, potentially more of us will be coming with, and if you want to come out there and talk to us about any of our work, or you're a designer and we're not doing
an autograph too, or a photo.
We're not doing portfolio reviews, but if anyone wants to come out and show us their work, we're actually expanding and possibly moving into a much bigger office space in the upcoming month or two, and we are going to be adding creative bandwidth. So kick-ass designers.
Yeah. Network.
Just
don't-
Send
We
us a
should,
press
mention. Hold on. We should mention that they are going to be doing those portfolio reviews. I'm not sure exactly
Yes.
how it works as far as getting in and being able to submit your work and getting to be part of that session. But go to insightdesignconference.com and learn more there if you're interested in that.
And don't get rowdy
Sorry,
and
Mo, go
obnoxious because we have Gross in the background that will take care of you.
Okay.
He's just going to be standing behind the desk like, so.
Yep.
Something like
Don't mess
that.
around with that.
I am accepting all of the resumes.
Is it so obvious that our operations man is a man of few words?
We just get it done.
Just get it done.
Get it done.
Cool. Let's take another question from the audience. Delta Ward Dog wants to know, how do you feel about the untrained DIY designers? How does it impact the future of our industry?
Can we get from Delta War Dog a little more explanation of what the untrained DIY designer actually means? Because if it's just a dude or dudette that has paint and has decided I'm going to download Photoshop off the internet and become a graphic designer for a profession, that is one thing. But I'm not necessarily sure, because like DIY designers could really be the whole like Etsy route, and those people may not necessarily be trained. Can we get some more like explanation of that from him
Or her.
Maybe.
or her?
Yeah, what do you mean? Like,
I'm
good designer,
not
bad
seeing
designer?
anything pop up in the chat room.
Can you
Let's take the range. Mitch Smith suggested, we're talking about the nephew that pirated Photoshop, and now he's just strewing crap across the internet, to the person who's really serious about illustration and emailing creative directors and finding jobs on their own.
Okay, well let me start with my past history as a creative. Jason and I actually both came out of industrial design school. No graphic experience. We both graduated before the web was really the web. All of our presentations were done on paper. We both took tech drawing together. We technically learned art and design, but almost more from like an architecture standpoint. I was an untrained graphic designer, and when I talk to people about it now and they're looking at my work and looking at, you didn't go to school for graphic design, that's crazy. The main point to that is you can be an 18-year-old kid who can't afford college, and you can be an amazing illustrator, and you could be an amazing graphic designer. And I don't want to be critical on design school right now, but you don't necessarily need the school to learn how to be a kick-ass creative. The untrained people are doing just as well as the trained people. It really comes down to, at the end of the day, about your heart. How good of a creative do I want to be? If I want to be an amazing graphic designer or interactive designer, I have to spend my time, putting in my dues with making websites and trying websites. Actually, that's how Jocelyn and I met. Was one of my first website ideas was for a mixtape trading community, and every month there was like a boutique designer that would make a mix, or it's kind of like designers.mx now, but that was how we met. And what that was a interactive design project that I started to do by myself because I never made a website before, and it introduced me to Jocelyn, and from there it opened up all sorts of different doors. So if you're a creative and you're untrained, if your heart is in there to be the best creative you can be, awesome. If it means if you ain't training, you dying. I totally agree with that as a comment. But in terms of the graphic design agency hacks, people that just say, well, I have Photoshop so I can make a logo. At the end of the day, good design is good design, and those people can open books on the Bauhaus and good design principles, and they can learn just as much as as everybody else. You got to start somewhere. My first website was a buffalo piece of clip art with one link on it, and we're making crazy interactive experiences today. So, if you're the untrained guy, keep going at it.
I think this question comes in the light of all this, the idea of spec work and
No
crowdsourcing
spec
and all this.
Ever.
And I'd like to say at this point that we might see sort of a waning or a plateau in the productivity of spec work and crowdsourcing, where it was popular because it was new, and now we're getting to a point where the businesses that are engaging in it are realizing you get what you pay for. What are your guys' perspectives on that?
Spec work was the yearly trend, and crowdsourced design work was the hot thing in 2007 and 8. It's the same thing as like daily deal sites today. It's going to be hot this year, and next year it's going to be so flooded that people are you're not going to be able to get quality work. I mean, Gap had an enormous fiasco this year with they hired a great agency to revolutionize a brand, and the design community had such backlash, and they opened it up as spec work, and it became a worse backlash because I posted today on the One Day for Design, you cannot go to a doctor's office and say, I have pneumonia, fix me up. And if I like it and I get healthy, I'm paying you. It doesn't work like that. I mean, we went to college for this stuff, just like everyone. Doctors went to medical school. I'm not going to sit here and work for somebody for 3 weeks only for them to tell me, this wasn't really a project, anyway, or we like it, but my nephew did the logo.
Really quick, I'd like to mention that we've got 23 participants and 29 spectators. What that means is there's a whole lot of people who haven't actually joined the chat. Please click on that button, join the chat, get involved, because that way you can ask questions, you can be part of the conversation. The whole reason we do DesignChat is not so it's the Ryan Show and this idiot can get on camera every week, because to tell you the truth, I'm not good at it, and it's not one of my strong points. It's to engage the design community, and there's opportunity every week to learn something, meet new creative people, see great work, and talk about your passions. So please hit that button, join the event, and ask some good questions, because you only get out of it what you put in. So next question coming from Sam Agabi. Can you make me a new design for my website and promote it for free? How do we feel about that? Do we work for free?
Yes. Just because.
Send us an email.
What's going to happen is the email is going to come to me first, and then I got to make a judgment call then.
Jessica Hish has a great workflow chart about should I work for free. If you guys haven't seen it before, Google it and spend some time with it. It's design wonderfulness. All right, next question. Hopefully this is a good one. Jay Johnson, how many designers do you have working in-house besides yourself, and how do you manage projects?
That's a good question. The way that we work on projects in terms of in-house creative, in-house every day, it's me. We work with, there's a handful of designers that are on staff with us that are off-site. We don't have any lag in workflow because of Skype and because of Basecamp and all these collaboration tools, that we don't need to have people in-house with us like we needed to have 10 years ago. We work with probably 6 to 8 developers, designers, photographers that we work with on every project, and they work with us regularly, and they're not in-house. We are looking to expand our in-house staff because there is, of course, some synergy that happens with going crazy on a dry erase board and sitting together and talking about this website is so great and why, and drawing things together. But the way we work is pretty much through video conferencing, just like we're doing right now. But to answer that question of in-house, me, out of house, there's 6 to 8 other creatives that we work with. What was the second half of that question?
How we manage projects.
Oh, and how do we manage
Jason
projects?
can answer that.
No, Mo's
You wanna-
Mo's taking.
Well, we can have it.
No,
Go ahead.
Jason should do that.
I'll join in.
Basecamp, really tight operations. One thing that people learn about me really fast is I'm clearly have OCD behavior about everything related to business, not just design, And what I learned in leaving the day job and watching an Inc. 500 company fumble around billing and websites that were going down and not executing smart business decisions. I took that stuff and I kind of converted it into how I run a business. And December 31st at 11:59 p.m., my 2010 taxes were done with the press of one button. I put in processes together that basically, we want to focus our time on the creative. That's what people are hiring us for. We don't want them to spend money on us with billing snafus and 5 weeks of meetings because we need to talk to people. So in terms of how we handle that, we use time tracking. We use some 37 Signals products. We use Skype, and we use Twitter. We handle important business decisions through direct messages all the time.
And always our phone. So I mean, we're always on the phone with each other once a day.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean because messaging and tweeting and everything is so it's so easy. It's on our phones, it's on our iPads, it's on our laptops.
Yeah.
Every place has Wi-Fi. Jocelyn and I were last year talking to a giant company from the beach in Mexico on the iPad. So that's the greatest thing about design is we take our laptops and we're out. I mean, we just had a conversation about a guy who took his laptop and lived on a boat for a year and kind of sailed the seas while still being a developer. And that's what's so awesome about what we do is, Jocelyn and I take our laptops and we handle management and creative from Mexico for a month at a time. Mo is kind of working from wherever he is, and we always connect and all those mysterious places that Mo is. But at the end of the day, everything is accountable with all this stuff.
I'm never in the office. Don't worry about it. But we get the job done. That's what's important.
You mentioned a second ago 37 Signals. Jason Fried has been on the show before, and he's talked about his design philosophies at length. And the Basecamp product, the collaborative workflow. I have no experience working in it. I have great interest in what that day-to-day is like. Tell us what your collaborative work environment provides you that traditional big agency, everybody's emailing Word documents to each other, can't do. What are the pros and cons of working in that environment?
Let me quickly. So, Basecamp is not we don't use it as a collaborative inspirational medium. Basecamp is us getting all our facts together and putting them in one place so that the client is on board, everyone who on our end, operations, creative, project management, copy, people contractors that might be on for photography. We use that as a tool specifically to catalog the process as we go. That is not a collaborative environment for us. That is a fact collecting environment for us. In terms of the collaborative experience, we like to get face to face with clients as much as possible to really talk things out, because some of the best ideas from a client don't come from the emails they're sending you. It's this small thing that they tell you in person, and you're like, that is your $1 million idea. That's where we have to go. Right. That's what's that's what's important. So that's kind of how we work with people. And of course, we work on other collaborative experiences outside of project work as a team, specifically to have fun creatively outside of project work. So we do a lot of collaborative stuff as a kind of creative agency that is not your 9 to 5. We had an event that's ongoing. It's called 2 Night Stand, and it's basically a creative weekend where creatives apply and the process is cataloged, and it's pizza and burritos and having fun ideas. The difference between that and other kind of creative get-togethers is there's no promise of deliverables, so the teams can work on whatever they want. They can come together and really brainstorm for 2 days if that's what they want to do, and that's what we like to do. Is a lot of those genius ideas come through in the they come through in the conversations, and they come through in just hanging out as a creative team of intelligent creatives. So that's kind of Mo is doing something as well. It's called Speakeasy, which is a password protected restaurant bar night experience.
It's a monthly members only underground drink and music social, and it's designed around cocktail enthusiasts, music lovers, creatives, and everybody of the same thought, like mine, that come together, hang out, share ideas, innovate, create, and then go along your separate ways and come back once a month to just rehash and re-deliver on some really cool ideas. And the spirit of it is to foster some new innovation in the world. So, and get people off their computers at times, you know what I mean? Because we're so heavy on our computers from day to day dealing with clients. We just get back into the world of meeting people and realizing that people are actually awesome at times.
Hey Mo, what's the password to Speakeasy?
It varies from month to month, and Jocelyn told me I can't tell you.
You gotta join the list.
Yep, go to Gossip.
You gotta come up with a drink.
Go to Gossip.
How do I join the list? What do I do? I'm sorry, I was talking over you.
Gossipneverhurts.com.
Say it again.
Visit
GossipNeverHurts.com.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. So next question from Patrick McGovern. My brother sitting across the table wants to know, what are the major pros you've found in working with your friends rather than a big agency?
Because our friends are great. Because then you don't fight.
There's also hardships of working with friends.
Yeah.
Maybe
we should talk about how we met.
Okay, so the major pros of working with friends is Bright Break Great as a design company to us is not a day job. It's fun every single day, and we get together, we hang out. The big agency, it depends what agency you're talking about, but there's a lot of red tape when you get big, and we don't want to deal with that kind of at all. So in terms of staying boutique and staying small, we don't have to deal with the red tape. But in terms of pros of working with friends, it's great to be able to count on people and kind of support your team that these are your friends and they're working on great creative experiences with you. We're getting them money, so they pay rent, and it's nice to work with those people. But at the same time, there's hardships of working with friends too. So we do like to kind of keep a pretty equal balance of friends and work people.
Yeah, it's
bros and pros.
It's really what we noticed that, or at least for myself, what I notice is it's great to make friends of people you do business with, and at times it may be difficult to do business with people that you're friends with, And so, how Jason and I met was actually through 2 or 3 different individuals that kept saying that, no, you guys need to meet. And I don't know if you guys know, Chicago's a really big city. And so for several people to say that, hey, Jason, you need to meet this guy Mo. Hey, Mo, you need to meet this guy Jason. And it's just like one of those love stories. We ended up going to the same event.
I know.
we got married.
Yeah. We're like a total eclipse here. Don't worry about it. So it's like one of those love stories. We ended up trying to meet each other at the same event. He ended up
bromance,
2 shifts in the night. He was leaving and I was coming. And all of this is serendipity right here. Don't worry about it though.
Yeah.
I want to stress
like
that when we talk to small groups like this and we talk about the benefits to being able to work in that sort of environment and some of the freedoms that you get to be engaged in, I don't think we could say that working in a big agency is necessarily an all bad thing. There are things that happen at big agencies that can't happen in the small groups, and vice versa. So I hope we're not giving the impression that we're just bashing big agencies, because I mean, look at it. Look at what they produce. You know, the TDBs of the world. There's some amazing, award-winning, change your life kind of work sometimes that can be super inspiring. So I really hope we're not giving that giving that idea off at all.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're
no
not,
kidding. We're their pocketbooks.
Our intention.
And in fact, my past experience was working in a leading a creative department in-house for a company that only had internal brands. I've never had big agency experience, but I dealt with a lot of Inc. 500 problems of trying to double $25 million revenues year over year over year at all costs, and it's just what you said. We don't, we try to do that award-winning big agency work with the small team that we have. And, that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit is right now boutique agencies have this life, and a lot of companies that wouldn't take the risk on them before are now taking the risk on boutique agencies because the economy took a downturn and companies don't have $1 million to spend. They might have $50,000, and that, if it was a big agency, time-wise, that's a 20th of the time. But with us, that's, we can give them still, pretty successful deliverables that, we put our creative ideas just like any other creative director and creative team would do their, put their ideas into it.
He's being modest. We only give them 100 hours for 50,000. Don't worry about it. You only get 100 hours.
We've got a live video question. I'm just going to go ahead and take it. He's been on before, Herson Rodriguez. Let's see if we can get him on for his question.
How exciting.
Herson, what's going on,
Herson.
man? Welcome back to DesignChat. Good
What
to
up,
see
bro?
you.
Yeah, thank
What's your
you.
question,
How's
man?
it going?
What's up, Herson?
Hey,
Man, you look good over there.
Oh man, you guys look good too. Thank you. So my question is, you guys being right at small boutique, what you guys were talking about, and each of you working, from wherever you're at, not in-house. How do you guys just focus on the stuff that you have to do? I'm pretty sure you guys have a million things to do, but how do you guys focus on doing what you need to do? Not being, in-house, so you have to do in-house. Just because you're in-house, you have to do what you have to do. I mean, I can imagine I have a friend that was in Hawaii working, so, I mean, I don't know how he did it, but I'm pretty sure you guys been through it too. So just my question is, how do you guys focus on what you guys have to do?
Well, Jason drinks a lot of Diet Coke, so that's where he gets his focus from. Without Diet Coke, he just... honestly,
I'm clearly fueled by caffeine.
Honestly, integrity, a lot of what we work on, and just the core values of this company, from what I've learned and realized, is integrity. There's a lot of dedication. We'll be up hours and hours making sure that the customer, we deliver on what we say we're gonna deliver on.
You got to manage your
Right.
time. It's like you have deliverables and you have to meet them. So we know schedules ahead of time. We work to those schedules, not wait till last
Right.
minute and say, all right, we got to cram.
We, just to kind of get a little more granular of both of those answers, right at the beginning of every project, we plan out what is an acceptable time frame for success. And, we know that a project that has to have creative direction isn't going to happen overnight, and it might take 3 days, it might take a week, it might take 10 days to get from where you are now to where you need to be. How we work specifically on that stuff is, we set deadlines and we meet those deadlines, and it's kind of a by any means necessary, but at the same time, we do all talk every day on the project, and we do post our work so that we're all seeing it and we're all talking about it, and we're meeting to talk about how can we make this more successful, and how do we take this to an even better place than it is right now. But the main thing is, if that's not your personality to be, let go free and continuously deliver, because some people aren't. If you're not sitting at a desk, you can't deliver. And we see that sometimes with people that we work with, and we learn from that. But at the same time, the way we work is, you've got to deliver this by this date, and if we work to project manage properly so that we're always nailing those things on time.
Herson, your question
Okay,
makes me
great,
wonder
great.
if maybe at times you might have a problem focusing, and I'm curious what you do to refocus yourself, because I know personally, having the internet behind Illustrator and InDesign, and knowing that the internet is lurking behind there, and all these amazing things are there, and I can't see them right now, drives me insane, and I constantly switch back and forth. So there are times where like I just gotta grab my sketchbook and go somewhere else and just sit in a quiet room for a while. That's how I do. So how do you deal with it?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I'm supposed to. I have a ton of stuff to do right now, but I love design.
That's what you're doing
Oh, that was real question for advice.
I'm doing it right now. No, but a lot of things I do notice. I'm always, like you said, I'm always just looking online. I'm always online, not just wasting time, but just looking at inspiration, surfing the web a lot, trying to just do, networks and stuff. And I do find myself like lacking time for my projects that I have to do. And so I just sometimes, I guess when I do realize that I need to work on the project, I just put it in my mind. There's no way I cannot finish I can't like not finish the project. So it's just like he said, like Jason said, it's just deadline. So I have to do it.
Person,
to that point,
I got to drop your call really quick because we're running out of time and we have a number of things to get through. Thank you so much for coming on. It's amazing that you do that. We love having you on, buddy.
Where is he from, by the way? Where's Herson from?
Herson, post
Herson,
in the
he's
Twitter
from
feed where you're from.
Florida. I'm probably wrong though. I want to say he's from somewhere warm. I've been following.
Cool,
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm totally hooked on Instagram.
There you go.
Puerto Rico.
Oh,
Yeah,
Puerto
there you
Rico.
go.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
It's probably warm in there.
Puerto
We've
Rico
got
live
a few
Atlanta.
more questions to get through really quick before we wrap up, and then Bright Great is going to ask a question of the audience. So we turn the tables on you guys. A couple more questions. Gary Holmes wants to know, Jocelyn, I see you speak 3 languages. Do you curse in English, Spanish, or French?
I curse in all of them all the time.
At the same
He's
time.
a trilingual swearer.
At the same time. On top of
Does
that.
that sound like a sneeze? What does that come out like?
What?
No, it sounds like a profane sneeze in French.
Yeah.
How do you say that?
How do you curse in all 3 languages at the same time?
It actually sounds really cute. But
Yeah.
I'm cursing. Nobody knows. But that's important, that's all that
Yeah.
slang is what you should learn first. In all languages you
That's
can.
awesome. Connor
French
Trolley
and
wants to know, do you advertise your services or is your business derived from word of mouth?
We do not advertise at all.
Well,
Kind of the beginning of the conversation when we were talking about having good experiences with clients, we pretty much all the time,
You curse.
it's you work with someone, they had a great experience, they're going to refer you to somebody else. No advertising. We're social on like Twitter and stuff, but we drum up all of our business from people who stumble upon us.
Or people recommend us, or
So we've been actively just for me, as a new business development, I'm a lot more of the social dude. So you'll kind of find me in and around, out and around town, and building relationships with a lot of people in all different sectors. And it's funny, Jason and I will be in the office at times, and I'll tell him like, hey, I happen to go to this bar or this club or eat at this restaurant. And he'll be like, what's the name of it? We'll go on the website, and the first thing we'll be like is like, wow, that website sucks. And it's like, new customer. And
Yeah.
Mo, you're
Bam.
doing this. Mo is, my God. No, I mean, we're
like
always
that.
on the lookout for new experiences,
I'm just
but
kidding, I'm teasing.
it's we always are keeping our eyes open. If there's a client that we want to work with, we might reach out to them. But typically, it's people are just same kind of serendipity of Mo found me and I found Jocelyn and Jason and I are friends. That's kind of how all of our clients find us. Is someone says, do you know any agency that does really great X, Y, or Z? And people say, yeah, look at this boutique agency, Bright.
Mm-hmm. Last text question for the night. I'm doing a presentation for school about presenting to clients. Do you have any presenting about presenting? That's interesting. Do you have any advice on the topic from Andrew M. Cook?
I'll keep it short and sweet. Keep your work as the star of the presentation. I see so many portfolios where the portfolio of the student is the best piece in the portfolio, and that's kind of not the direction to go. In terms of presenting to clients, keep it as simple as possible and come up with a methodology that you can present quickly, and it doesn't eat up too much of your time.
Do it live. Also, try to do it live with the client.
Yeah.
It's very important, or at least voice. But don't send emails.
Never sending
the
a
same.
blind, here's our work, we're done. That doesn't work.
You will not sell it.
And we've got a video question. One that's turn the tables from James Gray. What's up, James Gray? By the way,
Hey,
if you're
guys.
not familiar, edits the DesignChat videos for us, and he does an amazing job, and we love him for it.
Oh,
Awesome,
thank
dude.
You.
My question
Isn't
for
it
you guys
complicated?
is, when you take on a new client, how much preliminary research or preliminary work do you do before you jump right into a project?
Good question.
In terms of a new client is coming on and they haven't signed up with us yet, we do a lot of research as to who they are, what they're trying to do. A lot of times we find clients that don't exist yet. I'm a new application, I'm a new blog or something like that. So we do a lot of research as to kind of benchmark what's out there. But when because the client comes to us and they realize I'm hiring these guys to be expertise, the first thing that we do in terms of research is always, is what they're saying what they mean? A lot of times clients come into us and they say, I need a new website and it's X, and then they tell us what their idea is, and then we spend time working on, we think that there might be some additional opportunities for you that would help you with everything you're trying to do. That's where we do a lot of research. In terms of creative research, we jump right in. Like earlier, the video question about spending time online looking at websites and looking for benchmarks, doing what you do, and if you hold the best heroes as your benchmarks, you have a great recipe for success, because if you can look at some of the best things that are happening out there and use them as inspiration for yourself, you're in the right place to start. So that's what we always are doing, and it doesn't work per project. We're always doing that. We're always sharing as a team, check out this agency, they're great and they're in Chicago, let's go over there and meet them. That's kind of how we work, and we're always on the lookout for awesome stuff. Not specifically just for the client, it's just in general, and it's how can we apply this to a great project.
Very
Let's
cool,
answer
thank you.
Mitch's question too. It's a yes or no.
Thanks, James. Cool. All right. The time. Let's turn the tables. What is your question for the audience? And before you ask, just so you guys know, you can answer in the chat room, and hopefully everybody see it as it flies by. But if you think your answer is really good, submit it as a text question, and I'll pop it up on the screen. So go ahead, guys.
What is your favorite kind?
Wait,
No,
one
actually,
second.
Let's do a serious one. Yes, let's do it.
Magic 8 Ball. Is that going to ask
There you
the
go.
question?
Kind of.
So what we wanted to kind of reach out to people, we definitely want people to follow up with us in this chat, and tag DesignChat, or send us a Twitter tweet at
Right.
BBG Chicago. We want to know who you are, where you live, and what you do. And that's not our question to everybody, but we want to follow up when we're going to research where you work and what you do, and look at some of your work. But our question is basically to kind of people out there. We're at a very interesting time in the economy, and it's a great time, as we kind of spoke to earlier, for boutique agencies, because we're picking up so much business that can't afford 50-person agencies. There's a lot of changes in people's entire business model, and that's something that's unique to right now, and it's cyclical. But one of the things that is, what do people feel that if right now boutique agencies are really making their name. People stumble upon us and like what we do, but in 2 or 3 years, things are going to turn around and people are going to start have a lot more money and being able to start looking back at some bigger agencies for marketing budgets and stuff like that. What do you think the status is going to be of all these boutique agencies that are starting right now in 3 to 5 years? Because we're in an interesting period of the economy is affecting types of projects and work we do, but once it turns around, do you think these agencies have already made the name and they're still going to continue? Do you think that budgets are going to increase? Or do you think that in 5 years it's going to look to some of these smaller agencies might need to kind of merge to kind of compete with these bigger agencies? But this is solely a focus of what's happening in our nation right now with budgets and deficits and a lot of companies folding. We're also seeing a million new social companies, startups and stuff right now. Do they see the same 3 to 5 years that we do, which is there's 50 new Twitter clients, there's 50 new group, there's 5,000 new group deal sites. Is 3 to 5 years from now gonna be they're gonna have to work harder? Or do you think it's gonna be something that you make your name now and you're gonna grow back as things grow?
So you wanna?
First, I want to say I love what you did at the beginning there in asking everybody who's here to contact you. I think to speak to the age of design, we're really in a transition period where 80s and 90s and early 2000s, everybody worshipped these design rock stars who were the people who spoke at all these different design events, and then all the people who were doing all the grunt work and the real get your hands dirty work weren't communicating. But now that stuff is happening and everybody's benefiting from it. So please take him up on his offer, tweet them at BBG Chicago, hashtag a design chat so we can all follow the conversation and all just keep on learning and growing from each other. So if you've got a question, if you've got an answer to his question about the future of boutique design agencies, pop it in the chat room, or if you really like your answer, submit it as a text question and we'll pop it up on the screen. We saw a couple go by as you were starting to talk. Jason McClune says boutique and small agencies will rise above. I just lost it. The megacorps. Yeah. Connor Tolley on Twitter says looking for work in Chicago. I'm a developer. Connor, definitely tweet both of us after this and just get your name out there and send us links to your work. Yusuf Saran, what's up, dude? He's actually in Ireland, so awesome to see him here. I just lost it.
What was I saying about Irish?
Just to
boutique agency that makes no sense. I designer, you design. Not sure why there is a need to confuse the two. Yusuf, I think he's just talking about the smaller agencies, that sort of deal. Eva Crawford says, I also think big agencies have suffered severe backlash thanks to Gap and Tropicana debacles, to name a few.
If Gap or Tropicana is watching this, you can email us after this design chat.
We will fix you.
We'd love to work with
now.
you. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll fix
Dunder Mifflin, people, persons, paper, people, smaller boutique motto. Personally, I feel that, Jason, you hit it on the head when you said it's cyclical. And we're going to watch these rises and falls happen. Some of the smaller boutique agencies who do really well are going to pull in more people to do more work, to make more money and grow. And some of those agencies are probably going to be absorbed by other agencies and get bought. And then some of the other ones will die off because they're not doing it very well, or somebody couldn't manage money, or somebody couldn't get the technology right, or something that they promised to the client didn't work. We live in a time right now when so many of these technologies are so new, and groups are promising that they can deliver a specific result when they've never done it before, and then they fall flat on their faces and they get fired. So there's a lot of mistakes being made. But I don't personally have a problem with that, because that's the only way you learn, that's the only way you grow, is by making lots and lots of mistakes. So I wouldn't discourage anyone from making that sort of promise, because sometimes great things happen out of that, because all of a sudden you have this deadline, you promised it, you got to figure it out, you got to call whoever you need to do to learn what you need to learn to get the deliverable out the door, right? So I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, on our end, kind of answering what a lot of this feedback has been about, big agencies are doing this or not doing this. The main goal in a creative field is you always got to put your heart in it to be the best at what you do. You've got to keep working at it, and if you're not working at it daily, trying to improve and try to keep making your skills better and better and better. That's why as a small boutique we can keep up. We can brand like the big boys. We can make websites with e-commerce like the big boys. And from us, we like to work with those people who design is not your 9-to-5 job. Design is your life. And that's kind of how I live, and that's kind of who we like to work with as well, whether it be a photographer or any type of creative, an illustrator. It's be the best you can be, and those small bands of creative people that are doing awesome stuff, they can take on, they can take other bigger agencies on.
Jason McClune in the chat room says, BBG, you are the new big boys. I love that. I love that attitude.
Yes, Jason!
And James Gray says, I think boutique agencies will keep getting stronger. Boutiques are doing better and better work now. So true. They can deliver like the big guys. So, for the night, I want to thank a number of people. I want to thank James for editing all the videos. I want to thank Andrew Tibbetts from Symbolic for helping us get technically set up here.
Thank you, Andrew.
We are broadcasting from an agency named Symbolic out of West Dundee, outside of Chicago. Check them out, smbolic.com. They also put up the CUS conference every year. Check that out. And that kind of wraps me up. We do have another show next week, and I always forget who's coming on, but I will remember in just a second. But before I do that, I would like to thank all the folks at BBG. It's so awesome that you guys came on and shared your time with us tonight. So thank you so much for doing that. I hope you guys had a good time.
This was awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Ryan.
And everybody tweet your information to us.
How could I forget this? Next week, Carolina DiBartolo just wrote a book with Eric Spiekerman about typography. It's called Explorations in Typography. They have the great web interface, explorationsintypography.com. Definitely check that out. We're going to be talking to her next week. The week after that is not booked, but I'd also like to announce, what is it, May 11th, we're going to be talking to Jason Santamaria about Typekit. And I think that's going to be a very interesting conversation. So please follow up for that. I need to get that posted on the website. So that brings us to the end. Thank you guys again. Jason, Jocelyn, and Mo for all coming on and spending time with us. So much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we're going to sign off for now. Hashtag DesignChat and contact BBG Chicago, and we'll all chat in the future.